for those that still struggle with the idea of worthiness, I would challenge that with, if you find it important in your life to have a positive impact on people, whether it be your family, your friends, or maybe you're in a service-based industry where you want to have impact on hundreds, thousands, if not millions of people. You're not only worthy of those experiences, but it is your responsibility to become the person that you're meant to be.
I'm Emily Williams, the founder of I Heart My Life and your I Heart My Life show host. I always say I'm just a girl from Ohio with really big dreams. And now I work from home running a dream business that helps you achieve your goals and create more joy in your life. This podcast is all about all the topics that really matter to you. And it's about giving you everything you need in one place: mindset, relationships, wellness, lifestyle, money, business, and career. We have it all. This is your one-stop shop for all things personal development meets lifestyle. So pull up a seat, get out a pen and paper, and get ready to learn. It's time to create a life that's better than your dreams with the I Heart My Life show. This is episode 252, Travel and Transformation Inside I Heart My Life Experiences, the Bora Bora edition. Today, my husband James and I are taking you behind the scenes of our luxury retreats called I Heart My Life Experiences. These experiences are where we take women like you around the world and support you in rapid transformation. Today, we're breaking down the reason why luxury in-person retreats provide a fast track to the success and up-level that you are craving in every area of life. We're also going to take you behind the scenes as to how we came up with this concept. We like to say it's where personal development meets your vision board, and give you all the details as to what's in store for I Heart My Life experiences this year and beyond. So if you are interested in luxury travel, you want to learn more about how to create rapid change in your life, this episode's for you. Let's dive in. Welcome to the I Heart My Life show, James. I'm excited to dive into Bora Bora and all of our exciting experiences that we have coming up with you.
Very excited. It's always fun to do these with my lovely wife and business partner. And yeah, we're excited to talk.
So let's take it back to, I think I've been talking about Bora Bora since 2017. I have emails, James, from the amazing director there where, we were just going back and forth to see if we could make it work. So I'm curious to know from your perspective, what were your thoughts when you heard that I wanted to do something like this in Bora Bora?
Well, having known you for a long time, it never surprises me when the goals for experiences are epic and huge. And as with everything, it was a sign of something very, very important, which I've come to realize, that I Heart My Life's intention is always impact first. So the best possible experiences and experiences that are going to have the greatest possible outcome as the number one priority.
Do you think other people don't put impact first?
I think that it's very tempting to put profit first or put what's easy or doable first. And I think it just shows how out of integrity this company is, and you are, and both of us are together, that we really want to make an impact. Even if a goal that seems unattainable, that's something about you that's always been evident. It's like, what's the best possible outcome? Even if right now, right here, it seems crazy or impossible to achieve, it's like, that's going to be the best outcome for everyone involved. That's the goal. And so I think that's just a courage thing. Obviously, everyone wants to create amazing impact, but it actually takes a lot of courage to think that big. And so I think that's where maybe some other people maybe play it a little bit safer at times, which is fine. We all get there. But I think that's what sets you apart, is that you've always had a huge amount of courage in terms of what you aim for.
Yeah. And I think I just have a different level of standard. Like I've said before, honestly, that if I can't stay where I want to stay on a trip, then I just won't go on the trip, which might sound so weird to certain people, but that's just kind of how I am. Like I want to be in an incredible environment. And the reason I started this conversation with asking that question is because I do think from the outside looking in, like it was a bit risky to sign the contract and move forward with this, not knowing how many people we were going to get in our program and get at the actual experience itself. And like you said, it does require some courage, but I really believe, like, if my heart is calling me to do something, there's a reason for that. And it just goes to show that there are so many people out there who are craving this type of up level and this type of experience. And I know we're going to talk more about that today, but it starts with like the leadership, and it starts with the company showing people what's possible and giving them that opportunity.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that a lot of the fear from other people comes from, fear of being judged, that there's a lot out on social media, which is displaying all the wonderful parts of life. And sometimes that can feel to some people like, unnecessary luxury or a little bit like showing off. So they don't try. And I think it's very clear with I Heart My Life, it's not about that. It's about really aiming for and putting people in situations that they deserve to feel the abundance of what's available for them and what happens there. And so the truth is we're all going to be judged, whatever we do. And so as long as first and foremost is what's the outcome that I know my clients deserve, that is going to be massively impactful for us, that's always front of mind. That's where the courage comes in, is just understanding that regardless of judgment, we're going to do what's best.
So why don't you take us back to actually arriving at Bora Bora? Because I know for us personally, we had moved recently. We had so many things going on and we were like, okay, now we're going to fly around the world and stay for 13 days and host this retreat. Like how are we going to do that? So talk a little bit about your experience when you stepped on the island and overall, what came up for you while you were there.
Well, let's start with when we left, because, I won't lie that with everything that been gone on, I was like, man, this is a lot. And I take it very seriously who's going to show up at a retreat like that, because this isn't just like a fancy holiday for us to go on. This was work, but it was purposeful work. And so, getting on that plane, I think the moment we got on that plane to head there, the memories of everything we just talked about came flooding back in. Okay, we're doing this. This is actually happening. And then flying to LA and then flying to Tahiti and then getting on that other plane. Once we got on the little plane, which was going to take us to the island of Bora Bora, and it was daytime, so we could see all those tropical islands. You could feel it. It was very tangible. You're in the middle of the South Pacific, yet there was a tangible kind of energy. You could feel it even flying in. And then finally landing and getting there, I think we both knew, yes, this is going to be incredible. Not just for the clients, but for us, because it was so far outside of the bubble of our lives, of the world, which is so full of information right now, good and bad and challenging, but it's just, information is thrown at us left, right, and center. And so to be somewhere where it was actually kind of, you could choose very easily what to focus on. I felt that very tangibly. And then getting on the boat, which was taking us through, which is basically a lagoon, through to the hotel. It was just absolutely stunning. I felt my whole nervous system settled down. I felt inspired. I felt grateful, fortunate, all of the feels, and really excited to actually do some deep, amazing work with our clients. I had no need for just doing nothing for days. It was actually energizing to be there.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the word that kept coming up for everyone was just paradise, because it is so secluded and every hotel has their own island essentially. And it's just, and we kept saying it's kind of like Disney World, but it's what Disney World tried to recreate. And this is actually natural and the real thing. And you said something about the transformation, not just for our clients, but also for us. And that's one of the things I want to talk about here today, because it was truly life-changing in every sense of the word, not just for our clients, but for us. Also our photographer who we chose to fly in, who's actually my good friend of 20 years, our event planner, like everyone was truly transformed. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation today, because I was actually being interviewed by somebody else recently, and he hit the nail on the head. And he said, okay, so what you're telling me about these experiences, it basically sounds like 50% of the transformational work is done just by them signing up, and then the rest happens in the actual place itself. And so yes, online courses are great, calls are great, all those things, but the transformation happens when you make a decision, and also when you actually show up and put yourself into the room or the environment. And I thought that was such a great way of saying it, because it is the truth. When people show up and come to a new place, like that's something that's so beyond what they thought would be possible for them, at least for most of our clients. And it really is that whole experience of your vision board coming to life. That is life-changing in every sense of the word. So anyway, I'd love to know, what were some of the things that you saw transformed within our clients?
Well, I think just of what you said, that the commitment to such a huge experience that in itself was hard to get to is a metaphor for the goals and dreams that we have in life. And if we're just sitting in our homes reading books and just absorbing information, it's not really replicating the real exciting challenge of achieving a goal. So already signing up and going to this amazing place, that commitment alone is an example of the reward you get for a big, brave decision.
Totally.
And so that was the first impact for them, right? That they made this decision to go, which for most of them was like, oh, is it because we had people flying in all over the place in a time where it's still challenging to fly because we don't know what's going to happen.
And we found out that they had changed the COVID rules like a few weeks before. So there were still all those things happening.
Right. Which again is a metaphor for life. Like you can't predict what's going to happen in life, in your business, right? You can work hard, you have a level of influence, but you can't control it. And so you nailed it on the head. Like that decision to go was a great example of when you're brave enough to do what feels right, even if it's scary, you're rewarded. As soon as they got to the island, they were rewarded because they got there. And like I said, 50% of the work had been done because all they were left with was the best version of themselves, the most inspired version that had the ability to pick out the voices that were in alignment with the truth of where they want to go and the other voices that were trying to hold them back. They were much weaker in Bora Bora. So you could tell them, you could tell who they were. And so if all that happened was they got there, had some dinner with us and went home, there would have been huge transformation.
So good. Yeah. And everyone keeps asking me, what was your favorite part of Bora Bora? And I have to say it was when all the ladies arrived on the boat and they pulled up to the dock and we were there filming them and taking pictures and just their expressions. And like you said, if they had literally just shown up, had a dinner or something and went home, everything would have been transformed because it was just getting there and putting themselves in that environment. And the energy was just completely life-changing. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that what you're really talking about is priming. How many companies that are service-based that aim to impact clients in one way or another have a priming exercise, which is priming is getting something completely ready to be optimal for the work. So in the gym, we might warm up, which is priming our body for intense exercise. Arriving in Bora Bora, that whole journey was priming them to be able to absorb and take on board everything that was to come on the rest of the experience.
Yeah, so good. One of the things that came up for one of the ladies at our welcome reception as we were kind of going around in the circle and just checking in with all of them was she felt almost like an out-of-body experience, like she was on the island, but she almost wasn't worthy of being there. She wasn't really doing it. She hadn't actually made it happen for herself. And I found that so interesting. And it really took me back to some of our very first events in London. And we had women flying in from the US, from all over the world. And oftentimes it would be the first time that they got a passport or the first time that they flew internationally or the first time they were in a 5-star location like that. And so many people have this element of not being worthy or it not being real come up for them. And what happened over the week that we were in Bora Bora is that client was able to really ground herself in the experience and actually recognize, what, I created this. And that means that I can recreate something just as amazing, if not even more amazing, if I so choose. And I think part of that is just so pivotal for all of us to recognize, how often are we thinking, oh, well, I was gifted this, or because Emily chose it, I didn't really make it happen. And so we're not taking ownership of all of the powerful things that we're doing in life. Can you speak more to that?
Yeah, I mean, that was so emotional and so powerful, I think, for all of us to witness what happened there. And, what I talk about in high performance here is, this idea that as human beings, most of us are living predominantly in the future, right? We're aiming for something and we're frustrated it hasn't happened yet, and we're impatient and, we're living there, and sometimes there's trauma and situations in the past that we're still hanging on to, which is hard for us to feel worthy of the future. So it was really an exercise in being present. And so, during that experience, it was obvious that particular person hadn't logged enough of her achievements to feel worthy. It's not there hadn't been amazing achievements, but she hadn't logged them in that kind of, I call it the past habitual library. She hadn't logged those achievements to give her the confidence by way of competence. And so the whole experience there was a recognition that it is up to me to record every day what I'm grateful for, what I'm achieving, so that I have I have enough self-belief to go forward and do some of these big things.
Yeah, that's such a great reminder. How often are we just, going through the motions and not actually recognizing all of the positives and all the things that we've already accomplished on a regular basis?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people grow up like maybe being told or assuming that they're not allowed to celebrate, that it's kind of arrogant to celebrate your wins. And so then what does that create? It creates people that are achieving things, not recognizing it. And then they get to a point where they can't achieve anymore because it now requires a lot of self-belief. And so it's crucial.
Yeah. And I do think that one of the other things that came up for this client in particular was just, it was challenging for her to kind of own what she had done because she hadn't seen examples of people doing the same thing in her family history or even in her community. She kept saying, I've never known anyone who's gone to Bora Bora. I'm the first person. And I think that's why these groups are so powerful, because you start to see real life examples of what's possible. And that's especially important for those of us who didn't have that modeled for us growing up. And so it hasn't sunk in as our true self because we didn't know that it was possible until this moment. Right. And so it's so important if you're looking to up level your life and make a big transformation to get yourself into the environment, especially if no one before you has ever done it before.
Yeah. I mean, the environment we put ourselves in is a huge part of personal work. You'll spend a lot of time making your home look the way you want it to look. You buy the clothes that represent you, all of these things. So when it comes to, progress, the deepest work, the work on ourselves, all of these things aren't changing. So yet you want to be this bigger version of yourself, but you're trying to do it in this environment that still represents where you are, not where you want to be. And so it really is, it makes the growth so much easier and so much more powerful when you consciously put yourself in a curated, intentional environment of abundance. That is food and fuel for their growth.
Thank you for using the word curated. It's up my next question perfectly. So you and I curated this incredible experience. And for those who are listening, for the past 8 years or so, we've been working with mainly entrepreneurs. But what we found is that entrepreneurs come to us thinking they need business strategy or marketing or whatever those tangible things are, and tangible in terms of the business sense. And what we realize is they actually need to slow down. They need the mindset work. They need to take better care of themselves. And so although I Heart My Life experiences are not just for entrepreneurs, they are for ambitious women. And so there's a common theme with ambitious women. We often put ourselves last. We put our work and our business first. We put everyone else first. And so you and I were very intentional about the fact that this needed to be a reset for them. And we were going to do as little work on marketing and business as we possibly could, because we wanted them to feel immersed in an experience that was all about self-love and self-care and go back to their lives feeling completely different. Like you said, having a reset for their nervous system. And yet there was a question mark for us around, are they going to fight us on this? Are they going to be asking for the next marketing or business strategy or launch plan? And of course, there was a little bit of that given the nature of the group, but we were really, at least I'll speak for myself, I was really just surprised and also elated that they really threw themselves into the world of self-care. So much so that there was a period where we had, because this was a small group, we had scheduled some one-on-one time with each of them. And a couple of them said, you know what, I'd love to just go to the pool, or I'd love to just go to the spa. Can we do the one-on-one work, online later on? And I loved that because in particular, the few people who said that, they're the ones who have shown up as workaholics for so many years and working with us. So can you speak to that?
Yeah. And I think, using that word strategic, I think it's very important to point out there is a lot of strategy and tangibility to the work we do, even in recovery and self-care. Right. So it speaks to the business part of their brain, but it was very impressive that they trusted us enough to say, okay, we're in your hands. We trust you. Because I think by that point, they'd realized that if they're going to even have what it takes to implement these marketing strategies, to go big, to be the woman or the man that is capable of achieving and living this future life, then it's all coming from this. It's coming from this body, from this brain, from this emotional bandwidth. And so they recognize that this experience was an upgrade. It's like, I'm upgrading my software.
Are you looking to transform your life in every way imaginable? If so, I want to invite you to our brand new virtual workshop happening on July 20th. This is where you're going to meet myself as well as my team of experts who are all bringing you 7 ways to transform your life literally in a few hours. I'm so excited to share all this incredible content with you, and this is completely free. So go to iheartmylife.com/transform and make sure to register now.
I'm going to come away with so much more bandwidth and so much more clarity and so much more intentionality about how I live, that now my goals are bigger. Now what I know I'm capable of is bigger. And even what marketing strategy I choose or how I choose to run my business is going to be different because the belief system is different. And it's the most important thing, because you could have the best marketing team in the world. You can have the best strategist, the best quality of material in the world for whatever it is you do or sell. But unless you as the leader of the company or of your life is capable of showing up as that best person every single day, then all of that stuff is never going to be as powerful. And I think they recognize that. They were feeling it tangibly. And so I think that spoke to the relationship we had with them going in, right? There was some trust there. And I think that's really, really important.
And I love how they embraced the element of having fun as well. And I think that's been a big theme for me over the last few years, is recognizing I run a company called I Heart My Life. And there were many, many periods where I didn't feel that way. And I was so about the work that I was doing, and it was very unbalanced. And so really starting to implement rest and recovery, but things that also fuel me and bring me joy. And so they all really embraced that in so many ways. And that was amazing to see. And I think that's so important, because oftentimes if we get stuck in the doing, it can lead to resentment of our work or even our partner or whatever else that's causing a lot of stress or a lot of output. And so it's important to go back and go within and center yourself and ask yourself, what do I really need? What is my soul calling out for? And I know that a lot of the ladies were very present, and they didn't necessarily know going into it, what moments were going to be life-changing. But even one of them mentioned just staring out at the ocean one morning when you took them on a walk and they did a meditation, that she tapped into something really deep within herself. And that moment in itself was completely transformational.
Yeah, it was very powerful. And I think it was because sometimes we think we're being present because our experience of being present is one thing. But I think in that moment, this kind of huge realization and perspective, right? We were on an island in the middle of the South Pacific, middle of nowhere. It's like, oh, I'm a human being on this huge spinning ball, right? And this is a moment, one of millions of moments left in my life that I get to experience. And what I'm getting from this moment, whilst shutting the doors to all the other stuff that will be and that has been, is so powerful. It painted perspective, and perspective is everything. Because one of the things I said to all of them was, imagine if everything in your life was as it is. The things that you feel are challenging or stressful, and the things that are great, but everything is just the way that it is. But your perspective on those things was different. Didn't feel heavy, that it didn't feel stressful, that you knew that you were still working towards something, but what existed didn't feel bad. It just was. And I think in that moment, it was this huge just acceptance and gratitude for being alive, that even having the opportunity to do this and be here. And I think that grounded, and I was sat there with them, and there were tears and smiling faces and tears. It was huge. It was really, really powerful.
Yeah, it definitely is an experience that makes you feel grateful for your life. And it almost makes you realize that your problems aren't really anything to worry about. You don't even think about them while you're there. And you just are so present in the moment. And I know that we were really struck in particular by the staff and all the people who lived on the island, and how simple their life is comparatively speaking to what we experience day after day. Even, the jet ski instructor who took you out, he does the same thing every single day, but you said he was the happiest person and just such a joy to be around.
Yeah, like we were pretty much the same age, and it was just me and him, and he's playing around on the jet ski and pointing out like stingrays and fish, like he was a tourist, like it was the first time he'd seen this, and he does it every day. And it just was such a reminder, wow, he's present, because none of this stuff suddenly becomes unattractive and unamazing unless you become blind to it, right? And he was so fulfilled and so happy, and we connected deeply in that moment, even though our lives are so different and so far apart. It was a reminder, we're all just having this human experience. And what we make of it is up to us.
And I love what you just said around he was so present. And it's really impossible not to be present there because the colors are so vibrant and the smells and the animals and the food and all your senses are just like on fire. And that was just so transformational just to experience that. And I know you and I have talked about it many times since returning back to Texas. We just ask ourselves, how can we bring Bora Bora and the way that we were and the way that we showed up and what we experienced back into our reality here? And that's always the goal for us. You know, we're very aware that when people attend events and retreats, it's great while you're in the room, but then what happens when you get back into real life? And so, you know, we had a lot of conversations with our clients about that and what it would look like to essentially reintegrate and take what they learned and apply it to everyday life.
Right. And I mean, one thing I remember saying is that if you and I had just gone there on a holiday, it wouldn't be as powerful, because I think quite often what happens on those kind of holidays is you switch off and you're there and then you finish the holiday and it's like, oh, what happened? But because we were so intentional and there was some structure to it, there was a lot to take. There was an experience of us. And that's what we took away, is what did I experience from myself, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that I can record, write down, and then bring back with me? Because here where we live, I can step outside the back door and I can look at beautiful nature. There's so much beauty everywhere in the world. It's different, but it's beautiful. And so what can I take from the experience of me and incorporate me into every day and benefit from the fuel that gives me, so that I can point that into my relationships, my work, everything.
Beautiful. So this leads me to the next part of the conversation I want to have about our I Heart My Life experiences in general. Obviously, Bora Bora was incredibly special. And for everyone listening, we are going to do it again. So you'll be very happy to know. It's been amazing to see everyone's feedback just from the pictures and the videos we posted on Instagram while we were there. People have told me that they were transformed just by watching that, which has been epic to see. And I know we even have colleagues who Bora Bora wasn't even on their radar, and now they set the intention to host a retreat there. So it is super special. And we also know there are tons of other places in the world that are equally as transformational and just maybe a little easier to get to for those people who aren't able to travel so far at this point in time. And so what we're doing now in this next chapter of I Heart My Life is launching our official I Heart My Life experiences, which are transformational retreats held in a variety of different places around the world, with content like what we just described, teachings, guest speakers, amazing lessons on how to transform your life from the inside out. So bringing James's mastery of high performance, my mindset work, and like I said, other guest speakers, which I'll talk about in just a second. And I truly believe it's where personal development meets your vision board, because we take you to vision board locations, places you might think you aren't going to be able to get to until you retire or later on in life or until the kids are off to school. But we love to compress people's timelines and make their dreams, whether that's business-based, career-based, whatever it is, make your dreams a reality today. And that really works with you starting with a decision and then putting yourself into a new environment.
It's immersive, right? I think this is what we've learned of all the years of doing what we're doing in different ways, right? Individual events and online courses and in-person experiences. And we're gathering information from years and years. What is the ultimate experience to maximize growth, fulfillment, success? And this is where we're at. And it's so powerful. And I think that word immersive describes it. It's an immersive experience, both physically, emotionally, spiritually, that expedites growth in that. And like with Emily, who is probably one of the best people when it comes to how to think like a successful person. I mean, labeling it with just mindset work is undermining what you do. Like, she's the best at what she does in how to think like a successful person, which is crucial. I've learned a lot from her. And then that paired with how to run the business of you in terms of high performance. And then the amazing people that we have that are friends and colleagues that have their masteries that in all the different ways help you to be successful, whatever that means to you. It doesn't always mean business success. Successful in terms of living a happy, fulfilled, abundant lifestyle that you're going to realize you deserve and that will change the way you live your life forever. And so these experiences, I'm so excited because these experiences are powerful. And I think especially with with what's been happening in the world, people are craving them. And so we are more than happy to be that answer.
Yeah. And, the speakers that we have lined up, I guess I should call them more trainers and teachers. We had two of our amazing colleagues, Erin Erickson and Mona Sharma, actually on Zoom in Bora Bora. They weren't there in person, but for our next level retreats, we're looking to bring people actually there on the ground to support our clients. And I know we have a yoga teacher who's going to be joining us. We have Mona who will join us again. She's a celebrity nutritionist. We have Skip. How would you even describe what Skip does?
Skip is a magical human being who has come up with his own system of inner physical, emotional, spiritual healing through a unique practice through his company Wondersoul that utilizes yoga type meditation with breathing, movement, and it is very transformational, not only on a physical level, but on a spiritual level. It's going to change the world. And these are the kind of amazing humans that we have spent time really getting to know, and we're so grateful to know. And, we will plug in to these experiences everything we can intentionally each time to make sure that the person that comes back is not only the best person, the best version of who you are, but almost a version of you that you didn't know existed in the best possible way.
So true. And I love how you mentioned that you understand that you deserve this opportunity, because that's really the first step. So many people, again, going back to the worthiness, don't think that they're deserving of 5 days in a luxury location with the world's best teachers and instructors, meeting incredible women who are going to help raise their vibration and change the world, right? When I say that out loud, so many people don't put themselves in the category of, yes, I deserve that. Mm-hmm. And so just signing up and making that decision is hugely transformational. And then going there, like I said, that's the remaining part of the work. Mm-hmm. But if you're listening and this is piquing your curiosity, you can go to iheartmylife.com/experiences right now. And based on the timing that you go to the website, we may or may not have all of the locations up there and available, but it'll be happening very soon for you to check out. And the inspiration for this, for me, was something else that I absolutely love looking at, something that inspires me, and that's the Four Seasons Jet experiences. Now, these are experiences all around the world. They do about 4 per year, and it's literally 2 to 3 weeks on the Four Seasons private jet. And I'm not like being sponsored to share this. I'm just telling you where my inspiration comes from. And I remember seeing this years ago. And at the time, the ticket was around $105K. Now I think they're up to $205K. That's their top level experience. And I thought to myself, how amazing that even exists, and that there are people who will pay for that and do it. And I recently got a partnership with the Four Seasons, and I was talking to the woman who is our liaison, and she said, oh yeah, those sell out like so easily. Like people book one after the other. They don't just go on one, they keep booking them and booking them. And so that's really my inspiration for this type of retreat and this type of transformation. Obviously ours are personal development and professional development based, but it really excites me to bring different locations to our community and give you these opportunities, and opportunities where, yes, you can go to one, but say you want to do multiple in 1 year. Awesome. We'd love to have you. And it's just going to gain, I just know it's going to be a snowball effect, and we're going to gain so much momentum, and we're probably going to have to add more and be traveling all the time. But for the next year, we're doing a couple, and I'm just really excited to see how they take off and what they do for our community in general.
So powerful. And actually, one thing that came to mind as you were sharing all of that, for those that still struggle with the idea of worthiness, I would challenge that with, if you find it important in your life to have a positive impact on people, whether it be your family, your friends, or maybe you're in a service-based industry where you want to have impact on hundreds, thousands, if not millions of people. You're not only worthy of those experiences, but it is your responsibility to become the person that you're meant to be, so that you can have that impact, right? Impact comes from an impactful person, from someone who has paid enough attention to what is it going to take for me to be thriving as the best version of me, so that my output is inspiring to my family, right? I am the best version for them. I'm the best version for my clients, for my team, for everyone around me. So you're not only worthy, but it's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to make the most out of this life, be the best person you can be, so the legacy you leave behind is something that you are going to be so proud of, and that your family and the people around you are going to be so grateful for.
Yeah. And you always say it's actually selfish to put other people first.
Yeah, because if you put everyone else first, those people aren't getting you at 100%. They're getting this weak, neglected version of you. So by putting yourself first, your ability to be incredibly present, powerful, inspiring, and of service to those around you is 10x.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that's so important here is just the element of community. And we spoke a little bit about it, but the type of women that we bring together, and obviously the caliber of speakers that we just mentioned and teachers, it's life-changing to rub shoulders with those people and to connect on such a deep level. And that is something I think so many of us are craving. And again, the online space has so many benefits, but being in person, it just creates a deeper level of connection. And we saw that firsthand at our Bora Bora retreat. We see that at all of our events. And so, if you're listening and you're craving that and you want to meet incredible people and you want to expand your network, this is such a great way to do that, because we're not meant to do this thing called life alone. And the other piece I just want to leave people with is that my intention for this, like I said, is to bring your vision board into your current reality, because I think so many of us are waiting, and we're waiting for the calendar to line up, for us to have more free time, for the kids to go to school, for all the money to be there, all the excuses. But if you're craving something right now and your soul is calling out for it, you have to remind yourself on a regular basis that you only have this one life, and there's no time like the present. If your body and your heart is telling you need something, that's enough of a sign to give yourself that opportunity, to gift yourself that opportunity, and to actually go for it. Our body is telling us things, giving us clues every single day. And I know so many people are in resistance of that, or not feeling worthy, or just putting it off and putting it on the back burner. But I Heart My Life, at least for me, is about living life to the fullest. And you can choose to do that literally today. So James, we'll just leave them with the website. They can go to iheartmylife.com/experiences, and you can check out some of the behind the scenes of Bora Bora. You'll be able to see, hopefully at this point, at the time this is coming out, you'll be able to see the locations that are coming up and start to apply. And we would love to have you at our experiences. It's going to be an incredible year. It's going to be an incredible opportunity for those who choose to up level and take this next step. And of course, if you have any questions at all, you can always email us at info@iheartmylife.com. Thank you, James.
Amazing. I'm excited. I'm in. Yeah. 100%. I'm in.
Okay, I'm glad, because you're on the page. Awesome. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the I Heart My Life show. Now do us a favor and tell people about this episode. It's truly our duty to make sure that the I Heart My Life movement is spread far and wide. The truth is, life can be challenging, but it is possible for all women to love themselves and their lives. And while you're at it, send a link to this episode to 3 of your friends today, or maybe even post it on social media. Use the hashtag #IHeartMyLifeShow. That's hashtag #IHeartMyLifeShow. And if you'd like to help me personally, then please rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts. Give us some stars, cheer us on, and leave a review, because believe it or not, that stuff actually really does help. And I read all of them. Please remember, everything you desire is meant for you and possible. Keep showing up, taking action, and believing in your dreams.